I go and I look in the mirror right now and I'm like, what the fuck is that on my face? There's like this red shit here. And then, I don't know if it's stress or something, but you'll see this red mark here. I'm growing hideous. We're doing this lecture anyway, I don't give a shit. Here's the deal. That's one of the downfalls about me filming every single day is you get to see the daily changes. So, if like last night, I got really horrific sleep. Like I had to sleep in after, wake up time for a considerable amount of time because I could not go to sleep for the life of me because my diet and my training and my everything is altered with everything that's going on right now with my teeth. So I'm not able to eat the food that I want. I'm not able to train the way that I want. I'm not able to do anything the way that I want. And then I ran out of my Advil prescription, the 800 milligram one, as you know, that I've been taking for the pain medication for my teeth extractions. And thus, last night, I had to endure the lovely pain of it. So, the result is, what is this? That's crazy. That's okay. We're going to look hideous today, and that's fucking what it's going to be. All right, here's the deal. So, law number 40. Let's just take a second to appreciate that while you can't stop staring at my eyebrows. Law number 40 out of 48. My God, what a feat. My goodness. That's 40. That's 40 of them. Do you know the amount of patience that it takes, discipline, to disseminate something like this? And why am I saying that? Because law number 40 is despise the free lunch. Despise, let me turn that off. Despise the free lunch. It's actually saying my prescription for amoxicillin is ready. Despise the free lunch. The whole premise of that is, I learned in this book, See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. There's actually a chapter in it called There Is No Such Thing as Free Lunch. There's no free lunch. There's no free lunch. Every entrepreneur, business person, salesman, everyone has heard of that. There's no such thing as free lunch. There's nothing that you can get in this life for nothing. But they sell you, if they sell you on that, it's a scam and you're the sucker. I'll give you a perfect example. Because this almost happened to me. Not for zero, but it was so cheap that I was just like, imagine you go into your barber and then you're like, hey, Mr. Barber, I would like a haircut. And he's like, cool. And you're like, how much would that be? And he's like, don't worry, it's free. Like, what the fuck is going to happen to me? Like, what's wrong with it? There's a sense of, there's a scam, there's a scheme, there's something wrong with the product or service. Because it should cost something, right? There should be a fair exchange of value. And so you get, anytime some person is nice to you out of nowhere, and they're not asking for anything in return, your, bullshit radar goes, doo, 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 doo. You're just like, what are you trying to get from me? What are you trying to solicit from me, right? We all know intrinsically this law. There's no such thing as free lunch, right? That's bullshit. However, it's easier said than done when you take something like this and you just read it all the way through. You don't retain any of it. And so it's as if this is useless because you didn't learn anything, you didn't absorb anything, you didn't apply anything. Wow. Versus the amount of discipline and patience it takes to go one law at a time, the work nobody wants to do, right? To actually get a return on investment. Why or what? It's not about completion of the book. And I've had to stop myself within the progression of this university for reading just for the sake of a deadline. And then I didn't retain anything from what I had read, but I was just doing it to try to make a sort of quota for, this was mostly in 2024, and then I was starting to do it with the book Psycho-Cybernetics. And I was just like, I'm not retaining anything, I'm not absorbing anything, I'm not doing this for the sake of learning, I'm doing this for the sake of a fucking video. And I said, no, fuck this. I want to enact the quote, let patience have her perfect work, right? It's not about what I get. It's not about production for the sake of production, for quantity. It's about the man that I become along the way, right? From the work, from the studying, from the self-reflection, from the iteration, from these lessons, from the discussion of it, right? If you don't grow and learn and reflect and consider, and you have like an arrogance to say that everything I know is not, there's no fluidity in your learning, that's peak level of arrogance. And most people live their life like that I have nothing more to learn. So me as a developed person, I'm done. I'm good. I've graduated. I'm done learning. I'm done developing. And most people, that's how they stay stagnant, and you don't even stay where you are. You actually regress if you choose that mindset to adopt within your life. In terms of the opposite being of a student of life, you would be embodying and enacting the quite antithesis of that. So it's a lot easier said than done then, isn't it? When we talk about this a lot, despise the free lunch, because everyone is looking for the quick fix. Everyone is looking for the instant gratification, the immediate return. They want to get 10 years of work, of results in a month of work, right? They want to undo 10 years of neglect, 10 years of shitty habits, 10 years of sloth and lack of discipline. They want to undo all of that in a fucking month, right? It's all garbage, it's all bullshit. But that's what sells. And that's how you convince stupid people to buy scams, right? If you want to go far, if you want to play the long game, if you want to build something of quality, it's one motherfucking brick at a time. It's improving ever so slightly, one at a time, right? That's how you build something of quality, of worth. And you can apply that to yourself. If you shortchange, I keep looking outside because I hear something, but it's also raining outside. I know, a rare event in California, in Southern California. If you want to improve yourself, it's one thing at a time. It's a slight iteration, slight improvement, incremental. But if you zoom out over the span of years, it's night and day. There's the gap between first and second that's non-closable versus the one who's trying to skip level 2, level 3, level 4 and jump to level 14. I learned that from Patrick Bet-David. He's like, complete level 1 and then go to level 2. Most people are trying to do level 7 shit at level 1. And that's why they fuck up, fail, and will always remain a failure because they're trying to rush the process. They're trying to get out of the work. And you can't get out of the work. There's no such thing as free lunch. Okay. Does that set the scene of the lecture? The whole mantra, to reiterate in rat life, is we're not trying to get out of the work. We're not trying to pay to get out of the work. We're not trying to scam. We're not trying to shortcut. We're not trying to soften even our own edges, right? We're showing up authentically as ourselves. And you know something that I actually appreciated in one of the last videos, it might have been the last lecture, someone left a comment saying, in terms of this garden, of this library that I'm building, they said it felt like fresh air, or they said something along those lines. What a sort of breath of fresh air. And fresh air. God damn it, they said fresh air. And I was like, wow, how nice. What a nice thing to say. Because I'll tell you this, in the future with where AI is going, you already see it now and how fucking fake the world is. And not just fake with AI and how you can contour and manipulate videos, fake in the sense of reactions that people post to things. And I saw a perfect comment. It was a video, and then there was, you know how they put it's a reaction of a person just watching the video and they go, like all this. One of the top comments, the most liked comment was said, why are you doing the most? Why are you doing the most? And I really appreciated that because I've done that in prior videos where I'll do all these theatrics and this, and it's so needless. It's needless energy that you're exhausting to try to keep the attention of your viewer. And so that is you, by definition, playing a character that's not you, right? Pretending to be somebody that you're not. So I love keeping all of that in the forefront of our minds of what garden that we're trying to build here. It's the cost of entry into this garden, into rat life, right? Into Tarek Houx's garden that he's building, not for himself, but for the world, is authenticity. That's the fucking cost of entry. As in, it's not ego. As in, it's not fear. It's not cowardice. For you to enter my motherfucking garden, it's, hey, maybe I don't have all the answers. Hey, I'm open to learning. Hey, I'm doing my best. Hey, I have the courage to try. I'm gonna put my walls down. I'm receptive to having a dialogue, to addressing my trauma. I am not healed, and I know that I'm not healed, but I'm cognizant of that, and I'm not gonna bleed on someone who didn't cut me, right? All of these things are reflective of what? Your development, your journey on your healing, and your own personal development journey and progression, right? That's the cost of fucking entry is ego, just like the gym. Because the dickhead that goes into the gym with ego, and I've even been guilty of this many a times, results in motherfucking injury, right? And then how cool do you look to all the fucking nobodies that you're trying to impress when you're outside of the gym for 6 months because you herniated a disc, you tore your meniscus, you ripped this, etc., right? Congratulations, idiot, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't consider myself stupid or an idiot or any of those things. But when I see people embodying nothing but ego, nothing but arrogance, nothing but the complete omission and lack of humility, I make it a point to stay the fuck away from those people. It is infectious. That arrogance it's what I am the furthest thing from, the furthest thing that I want to align with, the furthest thing that I want in my motherfucking curated garden. I would rather have that kid who's 18 years old, who weighs like I did, 145 fucking pounds, right? Who has a heart of gold, than the guy who weighs 100 more pounds, who could bench 2-3 times what this kid could. And he's an arrogant fucking prick. That guy can go fuck himself. He's not a champion. He's not a hero. He's not in it to win it. He's there to be seen. He's there for attention. He's there for the likes, for the validation, for the approval of other motherfuckers, these third-party people, right? He's not there for himself to improve, to close the gap of his potential, to not for the goal. That's what he's there for. He's there for the goal. I want to train alongside the fucking champion who's there for the man that they become en route, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's not about what I get. It's not the physique. If you've ever done a transformation, you don't give a fuck about being shredded. You don't give a shit about that. The gold at time's end is the man you had to become in order to achieve the physique, the discipline, the consistency, the work ethic, the patience, the how to overcome failure, the how to be alone, all of those virtues, the character, all of those character building blocks, right? That solidified integrity, that confidence of consistently keeping your word, of showing up on the days you don't want to, that you become a fortified version of yourself. That's the fucking prize at times end, not a fucking six-pack, right? So does any of that make sense? Does any of that resonate? The person that we're all trying to be, the cost of entry into the garden of Tarek Hawks, to breathe that breath of fresh air. It's kicking your ego to the fucking curb. I don't tolerate it. I don't want to be around anyone that feels the need to put on a front, to kid themselves. It's insulting my fucking intelligence when you come and you have this bravado, this show, the showmanship, right? Pretending like you don't have fears, you don't have insecurities. Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of here. This place isn't for you. I want to talk to, converse with, have discussions with the people who are open-minded, who are fluid within their journeys of personal development, of healing, of growth, right? Of progression, of traumatic discussion, right? Courage. Heroes, not fucking cowards, not pussies, not people who put on this front, who are the too cool for school kind of kids, who are too cool, too good to learn. They can go fuck themselves, they don't belong here, right? And these videos won't even resonate with them, because these videos are going to find people who want to what? Help themselves, who want to resonate with healing, who want to water their own fucking mental garden and invite nourishment, right? And what a breath of fresh air videos like these are in an ocean of garbage, of pollution, of smut, of stupidity, promiscuity, degeneracy, right? What a breath of fresh air to find someone harboring and enacting authenticity. Why? Because it inspires you to show up as your authentic self, to have the courage to be seen as you. Because what you'll find is that is the only way you'll find other people who love you for what? You. So long as you pretend to be a character you're fucking not, and do the most, you will never find the people who actually give a fuck about you, who resonate and fuck with you, right? You'll only find the people and attract the people who fuck with the person you're pretending to be, okay? So, despise the free lunch. To begin, nothing is more, are you still looking at my red? Nothing is more costly than something given free of charge. And I put opportunity cost, my experience as an entrepreneur. So the quote, nothing is more costly than something given free of charge. For me to keep the dream of Rat Life alive in the early stages of Rat Life, right? When it was just a supplement company, a pre-workout company, I was doing entrepreneurship full time, burned all my boats. It was all on me to keep this fucking dream alive. So what I did was I took all of my overhead expenses as low as possible. I lived in a fucking closet for 13 months in a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 other people, my brother and his friend Vinny. Excuse me, my cost of rent was $600 for a Harry Potter motherfucking closet. Excuse me, where I slept on a blow-up mattress that sunk to the floor. So I essentially slept on the floor for those 13 months. I sold my car prior to traveling to Europe for 6 months, and then I did not repurchase the car when I got back because I didn't want to pay for the gas. I didn't want to pay for the car payment for the note that I financed it through, and I didn't want to pay for the car insurance. So I was like, oh, I'm saving $700. Oh, I'm saving $1,500 or whatever on rent. My only expense was a bus pass on sale. It was $40. Or when it wasn't on sale, it was $70, right? For a 30-day bus pass. that you could use multiple times a day. Plug for Okta if you're from Southern California. It's hilarious. What did it cost me? It took me 4 fucking hours sometimes to go to the gym because I would have to wait for the bus to arrive, and then it doesn't go this way and this way. To go to the post office to ship out product or a purchase, it would be a day's event. It would take me the entire fucking day to get to a post office or to go to a grocery store. You talk about building your traps. I mean, they're not developed. I've neglected them for a long time. But it's actually my most underdeveloped body part now that you bring me into this cognizant depressed state. No, they are though. A farmer walks with all my groceries from the fucking bus stop for miles. Imagine that. Imagine carrying all the food that you're gonna eat for the week, and I couldn't do it for more than, a few days at a time, for fucking miles. That was the life that I lived. Because why? Oh man, I'm saving so much money. No, what did it cost me? In the time that I was fucking wasting thinking, oh, I'm saving all of this money, what did it cost me on the opportunity cost end? It's a concept I learned from Alex Hormozy. These were all the clients that I could not train, could not coach, did not have the time of my day to go see, to go talk to. I was wasting countless hours and therefore countless opportunities to earn more. Okay? Now I'm in a position to where I have not a fucking closet that I live in or a car that I live in, but my own place. I have a car that I can drive to wherever I want, and I can do 30 fucking tasks in a matter of this amount of time, right? So I'm not sacrificing opportunity costs. So it's like, okay, this is the premium that I'm paying, but what is it yielding? And I made that decision explicitly when I got my own apartment, even though my rent would go from, I think it was $775 because it was $25 a night. So do the math, 25 times 30. I think it's $775 for a bedroom in a hostel, right? So it was in Santa Ana, and there was 2 bunk beds in this room with the drug addicts and alcoholics. And then I moved from there to my own private room, and I was paying, I think, $1,000 for that. And I went from that, at that shithole place where one of the other tenants was a prostitute, that fucking horrific toxic environment where I chose to live in my car for the sanctity of my mental health and to not be surrounded by fucking losers because you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I chose to forego that cost to pay a premium of $2,500 a month. Why? For the sake of my mental health, for the sake of my mindset, for the sake of curating my reality. I said, okay, it's gonna cost me an extra $1,500 or an extra $1,725 per month, but what do I get as a result? Mental peace of mind? What price do you put on that? A fucking solidified, relentless mindset of nothing but growth, nothing but positivity, nothing but encouragement, nothing but mental nourishment to my garden. What's the return on that investment, right? The ability to control my entire fucking environment and prune all the negativity, all the no's, all the excuses, all the drugs, all the alcohol. And don't get me wrong, we all make, blunders or revert back to such things here and there. But you're on the straight and narrow for the fucking most part because we're all doing our best. It's in the book, The 4 Agreements, right? That's one of the agreements that you're gonna fuck up sometimes. So I put that caveat when I say drugs. Or conversing with shitty people. We all fucking make mistakes, but it's the person who failure doesn't stand, but they learn from their mistakes to continue to grow and develop as a person. My motherfucking point is, okay, it's costing you more here on paper, but then what is the return on investment over time, right? It's non-fucking comparable. And I did the math. And I said, okay, so in the course of an entire year, right, you're spending, we'll say $1,500 for easy math. So that's $3,000 every 2 months. So that's $18,000 on a year. You're spending, and then let's use the earlier example where I said it was $775 a month. So about $20,000, right? I said on a year basis, Tariq, you're spending $20,000 more than if you lived in this fucking shithole, taking the bus, doing all of this. But I said, Tariq, in your journey and your progression, do you anticipate by the foundation that you're laying now, from the environment that you're operating from, right? From a curated reality. You've cut out all the negativity, all the depressed, all the losers, all the drug addicts, all the prostitutes, all the alcoholics. Not prostitutes, I was fucking interacting with the tenant that was my neighbor. You cut out all of this garbage, all these weeds, parasites, pesticides from your fucking life. I said, Do you think there's a reality where you don't net more than the $20,000 this is costing you on a long enough time horizon? And I said, there's no fucking chance in hell that this doesn't pay. This doesn't yield 10x, 100x of what it's costing me. Does that make sense? So take an inventory in your life of what you think you're saving, right? By choosing the cheap route instead of paying a premium. What is it costing you in your fucking mental health, right? To be surrounded by fucking idiots and losers and depressed and negative, including family, including friends, including motherfuckers that make you feel uncomfortable being yourself, unconfident in your own skin, hard to love. What the fuck is that costing you in the way you show up outside of that environment, right? How are you performing at your job? How are you interacting with people that you're trying to court, relationships that you're trying to develop, right? Women, men, whatever your fancy is, right? It fucking transcends. Do you understand? So if you don't pay a premium here, you're gonna pay countless times more than whatever you were gonna pay down the road later in life. That's the concept of this law and why it is so powerful. Because what you do is you condition a mindset of lack and scarcity. And that's something that when I choose to pay premiums in my life, and don't get me wrong, don't mistake me, I don't live fucking lavishly. I think having a 1-bedroom apartment is basic, necessity for a young single guy, right? Who's 29 years old. I don't think this is going above and beyond spending fucking lavishly on myself. I think we've gone so far astray from, if you go back 60 years ago, where I don't want to make a joke and say that they could buy a fucking house with, some grapes, but you could afford a house, and this is in the book The Richest Man in Babylon, which was published in the 1930s. You could pay off an entire home in just a few years, in less than 4 years. You could have an entire home paid in full with an education that didn't far exceed a high school diploma on a single income, right? If you look at the cost of those houses, which were sub $100,000 60, 70 years ago, those same houses went up to, average in California is over $800,000 right now. Yet the median wage went from about $30,000 to about $50,000, $60,000. That's weird. So the wage didn't even double, but the cost of living went up fucking 8x. Interesting, right? Food for thought. But that is a tangent. But I hope that solidifies the point that I was trying to make, is to recap, understand the premium that you're paying, and dude, it's well worth the price paid, right? People can apply this also to your health. If you do what the fuck up that I did and just neglect, and it wasn't even a financial thing. I did not want to go to the dentist because every time I've gone to the dentist, it's been fucking excruciating, and so it's just something that I don't look forward to do. So you just put off until the pain gets worse enough to where you force yourself to go. If you don't pay the price here, you'll pay the price 100x later down the road, particularly with your health. And so if you're not going to the gym, if you're not taking care of your diet, and you think, oh, I'm saving money or something by choosing not to pay the premium of eating healthier food, what the fuck do you think it's going to cost you in your medical bills down the road? Food for thought. So, does any of that make sense? Do you understand the concept of opportunity cost? What is something costing you by remaining in this toxic, horrific fucking environment, right? With friends, with family that I love, who are so good for me, right? No, but we're blood related, so I have to keep these fucking people in my life. No. Do not differentiate between motherfuckers who invite nothing but negativity into your life. Negativity, put downs, discouragement. That's not family, that's not love. Those are called fucking weeds that need to be pruned. They need to get the fuck out of your mental garden if you ever want to hope to breathe in fresh air. Right? What you're doing is you're sabotaging your own potential for the sake of nothing, for the sake of bullshit. And if you have a heightened sense of your own personal development, you understand that you actually do them such a greater service by telling them to fuck off, because you know that you have to be so careful about the preservation, the conservation of your energy. So by removing the fucking negative, you can become the person that could give so much more to them later down the road. So it's actually a form of love by telling them to go fuck off. Not necessarily with your words, but within your actions, keeping them at arm's distance, at arm's reach, right? You actually will end up giving them less than you could otherwise by keeping them in your fucking life for the sake of what? Appearances, pretenses. Does any of that make sense? Kick the fucking curb, dude. All these negativities, all these negative parasites, all the fat that's in your life, not just in your body. Cut them out of your fucking life. Because who is the casualty? Yes, it's your fucking mental health. Yes, it's you, 100%. But it's all the other people in your life that you otherwise could be giving so much more to. You could be showing up so much better as yourself to. That you're choosing not to from what you're choosing to fucking tolerate. Okay. Make power your goal and money will find its way to you. Leave El Dorado for suckers and fools. So the law is despise the free lunch. The El Dorado, the get rich quick. And what it reminded me of was that I bought a lottery ticket. It's the only one I've ever bought in my entire life, and it's because I had a dream about a sequence of numbers. And so I thought it was a sign from God saying I need to do this. And then I had another dream of where I went into like a liquor store to go turn it in, and then he left, and then the guy never, what lottery ticket? And then I was just like, and then I woke up from that, and then it was just like, it was like a prophecy, like God saying, hey, be careful about, this blessing that is gonna come, have a better discernment. So, I won't tell you if I win, but there will be signs. However, I'm not doing that on a fucking daily, weekly basis. I'm not a fucking idiot. So understand that. Whenever somebody is selling you on a get-rich-quick scheme, you are the sucker. The lottery is a perfect example. It is a tax on poor, stupid people, right? Where we can literally, consistently take money from them. And they sell you on the 1 in 200 fucking something million odds of you being that one person. So what is that by definition? 200 and whatever minus 1 million suckers who are sold on the facade that there's such thing as a free lunch. Do you get it? And I learned that from Tony Robbins. People's number one dream, their number one dream is to win the fucking lottery. Until I had this vision of that ticket, that was never a concept or a thing in my mind. I said, I've always known I was going to be successful. I've always known that intrinsically since a very, very young age. That's always been cemented within my mindset, within my character. I never once thought that I would achieve success through a get-rich-quick scheme, through luck, through a lottery, through happenstance. I knew it was always going to come off the sweat of my brow. I knew it was always going to come off my work ethic, my consistency, my perseverance, my courage to pursue until. How that is a widely accepted thing is fascinating and terrifying at the same time, because then think about the mindset of that person who goes through their entire life in the hopes of just getting a lucky break without doing any fucking work towards it, which is the complete antithesis of you harnessing the law of, say, attraction or manifestation. It's about knowing what it is that you want, right? And maybe that's the fucking, to win something big, to get lucky. But there's a really good quote that says, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Why? Knowing what it is you want, working towards it, but letting go of how it comes to pass, right? You surrendering to the flow and to the current of life. Because God, universe, source, your divine self, your higher self, your future self, they could bring this about in a million different fucking ways. For you to say the only way I can achieve, let's not use lottery, let's say peace, the dream relationship, financial freedom, whatever, is in this sequence, in this order, by this timeline, by this deadline. How fucking arrogant and short-sighted is that? How limiting. How arrogant to the ability and capacity of God to say it can only happen in this one way. And then God says, if that's your fucking belief system, that's your framework, that's all you're giving me to work with, good luck with that. Let's see how that works out for you. Versus if you say, God, I know you could bring this about a million different ways. I want to see how great my life can get. I want to surrender fully to your plan, right? To your will. Here you go. Give myself fully to this. Be completely present within this. And then God will say, let me show you. Let me show you the beauty of how life can unfold, right? When you what? Cut your fucking ego. That's why that's the cost of entry into my garden. I don't give a fuck about your ego. Just like God doesn't give a fuck about your ego. God will humble the fuck out of you on your journey, on your hero's journey, right? He has to refine you. He has to remove all of these fears, all these limiting beliefs, all these insecurities, and bring you back to who you're meant to be, who you are. The refined, purified version of you, who doesn't have all this fucking ego, right? All this front, all this bravado, all this needless showmanship. So he humbles the fuck out of you through what? Failure, rejection, injury, a delay versus when the promise is fulfilled. Does any of that make sense? Okay, we're moving on. So, I love that though. I love that the cost of entry into my garden for the breath of fresh air that you're looking for to resonate with someone harboring authenticity is your fucking ego. I don't care for it. Because this is why I don't care for it. I have so much experience in pleasure and joy, having a past experience of dealing with people who had courage to let go, to be open, to be honest, or had courage to continue to persevere with a smile on their face after going through the worst of the worst: sexual abuse, physical abuse, medical detriment, cancer, what have you. So I have the greatest perspective lens a person could possibly have from dealing with heroes and people who enact courage and heroism, and the coward fuck, the one who's arrogant, the one who's entitled, the one who doesn't have any humility, the one who's just afraid to let go. He or she is just a pussy. When I deal with someone on the verge of tears, who is about to fucking break down, who is willing to be open, honest, raw, intimate, vulnerable, I fucking love that person. Why? Because they're demonstrating to me the utmost courage and the least most cowardice. So the cost of entry into my garden is the same that I would imagine God would have us, the same cost of entry, right, that God would have us pay to walk with him in his garden, is for you to curb the fucking ego, the front, the bullshit, because it's fucking insulting to his intelligence, just as it's as insulting to mine. Because we both know you're bullshitting yourself. And so don't come to me, don't have the audacity to bring that garbage into my fucking garden. And you'll find this, when you have that standard, people will feel uncomfortable coming to you with their bullshit. When you stand as such a light, you're just a mirror. And so when they come to you with deception, with manipulation, with schemes, with bullshit, with ego, with front, with facade, you can see your gaze is so piercing, and you can see right through these motherfuckers. And you're just this bright, luminous light shining the fuck out of their demons, out of their trauma, that they know they're too much of a pussy to confront. So they won't even feel comfortable coming to you with such bullshit, because they know you're a guy or a woman who doesn't tolerate that garbage. That's how you earn the respect of your peers. That's how you get people coming to you fucking correct. Do you understand? It's what you tolerate and what you choose not to tolerate. And the beauty about this is, in your life, you get to curate your own reality. You get to curate your garden. You get to set the terms. You get to set the price, the cost of entry price. You could be that person. You could say, no, cost of entry is ego. My garden is free. If you have a Wi-Fi connection, you have access to this virtual library. You have access to this education, this personal development, this nourishing garden of healing, of growth. Equal access to everybody, because I want to help the ones who want to help themselves, the heroes. I'm willing to help those people for free, to give up my time, my energy, my passion, and excitement. I love helping people who want to help themselves, the fucking heroes of life, not the motherfuckers looking to get the free lunch, to get out of the work, to get out of the inner work. Those are called pussies. I have no interest to interact or to converse with them in the fucking slightest, because they're a coward. They're too much of a pussy to look at themselves in the fucking mirror and to just address the truth, that they're the problem. It takes so much courage to say, it's my fault, whatever the fuck you've gone through. Because it takes courage for you to put the burden of responsibility on yourself for salvation, for improvement, for remedy. It's the fucking coward that says, I can't improve until this person, this condition, this event changes. How fucking convenient. Because it forfeits all responsibility, burden of ownership, personal agency on you. Quite convenient to say, I can't progress or move forward or become more because of somebody else. My problem and cause is out there, therefore my salvation is out there. That's a coward, that's a fucking pussy. The hero says, no, I'm the problem. It's my fault. It doesn't matter. He did this, she did, no. My fault. They're the ones who give themselves empowerment to change, to improve, to grow, to remedy, to heal. Okay? This forfeiture of ego, this hero, this you, right? If you're in this garden, if you're aligned with Tariq Hawks, with Rat Life, you're not a fucking coward, you're not a victim, dude. You're not a spectator in life. You're the one in the fucking arena. Okay? Nothing is better than generosity. So leave El Dorado to suckers and for fools. Leave them to the suckers, leave them to the fools. You're not one. Okay. I like that word though, El Dorado. Nothing is better than generosity, and I put than hospitality. And I put give, tithe lavishly. So I think it's very important that when we talk about giving, it's not just to harness the law of sowing and reaping. As you sow, so shall you give. But for me, the reason that I do it at every opportunity that I possibly can, when I go to Target and I say how many bags that I'm at the self-checkout and I say how many bags that I use, I always put more than I ever use, right? Even if the money's not going, it's going to the corporation. Missing the fucking point. When I go to my barber, my haircut will be like $40. I'll give him like a 200. Now I'm trying my best to improve it every time. I give him a 200% tip. So as if I'm paying for 3 haircuts. Why? It's not for him. It's not because what it equates to, it's just fucking gasoline for the month, right? In his car to work. It's not for that reason. It's for, in my life, I have so few things that I do that have the opportunity to give. And so I want to do them at every opportunity that I can. Because it conditions my identity and my character of the man that I say that I am, is somebody who gives at every opportunity that he can. So the only places of business, commerce that I'll go to will be like a dry cleaner, a barber, and then that's it. Do you know what I'm saying? So every time that I have the opportunity, whether it's just putting down fucking 60 or 80 more cents in, bags that I don't walk out of the Walmart or Target with, or your barber or whatever, I do that for 2 reasons. One, it conditions my identity. This is who I say I am. This is the man that I want to become, somebody who always gives. I learned this from Tony Robbins. If you won't give a dime out of $1, and you're the person who says, oh, when I have more than I'll give, you'll never give. If you don't give something when you have nothing, even if it's $10, even if it's $1, even if it's $20, you will never give 100,000 out of 1,000,000. You'll never give more. So I do this for one practice to condition my identity. The other reason I do it, to tithe and give at every opportunity that I can, is it conditions the mindset, an abundance mindset. There's always more, there's always more, there's always more. I would do this, and Uber is a good example too. Or if you go out to, say I would go to Jamba Juice, now I'm thinking of other examples where, because I don't go there often, because I often, I'm just dieting and I'm on prep. But when you go to the checkout and it says, how much would you like to tip? I always do the maximum tip option, always. Why? Even if I don't have much funds at the time. There's always more, there's always more, there's always more. I condition abundant mindset. I refuse to live in a state of lack, okay? The people who hoard, they enact the quote that I'm gonna end the lecture with, which I'll say right now. Excuse me. Image the river. Excuse me. To protect yourself or to save the resources, you dam it up. You dam up the river to save the resources. Soon, however, the waters become dank and pestilent. Only the foulest forms of life can live in such stagnant waters. Destroy the dam. When water flows and circulates, it generates abundance, wealth, and power in ever larger circles. The river must flood periodically for good things to flourish. And I put flow like water, my friend. Kind of like how Bruce Lee said, be like water. It's very, very true. If you live in a state of scarcity, of lack, of just holding on to whatever little coins that you have, you don't open up that flow of abundance. Current, right? A river. Money flows. If you put it out there, it'll come back to you. That's the idea of you living in a state of abundance. Does any of that make sense? Don't hoard. Don't say this. Why? You're conditioning a scarcity mindset. This is all there is, so I have to hold on to this. Now, extrapolate this, not just with money. Of the woman that you're holding on to. This is the only chance I have at love, at connection, at friendship, at romance, at whatever. That's a lack. That's a scarcity. That's desperation mindset. Versus if you say, no, there's countless fish in the sea. No, there's so many other people who would be so ecstatic to converse, to be in the pleasure of my company, right? Who would be so overjoyed to have the opportunity to love me as me, for me. If you lived in that abundant mindset, you would stop wasting your time and fucking energy for the scraps. What are the scraps in the relational context? The people who make you feel so fucking hard to love. That you have to work so hard to get this amount of time, attention, a fucking month reply from a text that you're sending, or you have to constantly double text, or fuck all of that, right? But so long as you're tolerating and entertaining that, you don't, and I love this, this has developed in my personal development perspective and personificated mindset that I can now illustrate and articulate. So long as you're holding that and keeping space for that garbage into your life, you don't allow or permit for space in your life to receive that which you seek. I'll translate it. So long as I'm entertaining the motherfucker who makes me feel hard to love, and I'm holding space within my life and occupying all of this space and all of this mental energy and fixation on this weed, imagine the room is completely filled, completely occupied, full occupancy, full capacity. There's no space for me to receive this person who would make me feel effortless to love, confident in my own skin, comfortable with myself, overjoyed, like confident like a king, right? Filled with respect, adoration, admiration, honor. There's no room. They're trying to come in. But as soon as they open the door, you understand. I don't need to push the envelope on that. But does that make sense? So long as you're occupying space of all the shit that does not serve you by your fear that this is my last chance, this is all that I'll ever have, you forfeit receiving. You literally cut off the flow of receiving what God, universe wants to give you. I learned this from Daryl, who channels the entity Bashar. And I love this. He said this. He said that your problem isn't you vibrating, not vibrating hard enough or at this frequency to manifest, to receive whatever it is that you're wanting. He said that's not the issue. It's that it's whatever you want, by definition, by magnetism, it's trying to get to you. It's whatever you want and you're putting out there, this is what I want, it's trying its hardest to come to you. What is meant to come to you, it's trying just as hard. What I desire desires me more. It's trying to get into your life. What's keeping it at bay are your limiting beliefs or all the bullshit that is trying its hardest to get the fuck away from you that you're holding on to. So he said, it's not about you resonating or vibrating or doing any of that shit any harder. You're fine. You just being as you are, you attract what you are. That's all. You don't have to work any harder. You manifesting, attracting, it doesn't require effort. You just being you is all that needs to happen. That's the mechanism. That's how it works. He said it's about letting go of all the garbage that's trying its hardest to get the fuck away from you, that you're just so desperate and to cling on to hold on to. Does that make sense? Because now, with all of this, I'm giving all of my time, all of my energy, all of my focus. I don't have any space in my garden to receive this flower, to receive. God wants to give you not the flower, he wants to give you the fucking garden. And you're holding on to this fucking dandelion weed. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Frozen? Okay. So nothing is better than generosity, than hospitality. Give, tithe lavishly for those reasons. And it's not for them. It's not because I want something from you. It's not because I want my barber to, give me a special treatment. No. For my character, for my identity, for the man that Tark says he is, to condition an abundant mindset. There's always more. There's always more. There's always more money. There's always more love. There's always more people who would love to be with me, to talk with me, to date me, to whatever, right? On your worst day, let me show you this, you'll still be enough for the right person. On your worst day, you'll still be enough for the right person. Say it louder for the people in the fucking back. On your best day, you still won't be enough for the wrong person. On your best day, you still won't be enough for the wrong person. So if you're entertaining motherfuckers in your life who make you feel hard to love, uncomfortable being yourself, uncomfortable in your own skin, unconfident being yourself, hard to love, right? You have to try so hard to get their attention, to get a text back from them, to spend time with them. Kick them to the fucking curb, raise your standard, they no longer have access to you. Be embarrassed about the shit that you're settling for by remembering your value. Once you remember your value, you'll be embarrassed at the shit you once settled for. Be that guy, be that girl, right? We're in 2025 right now and about to enter a new season of spring. Winter's coming to an end. Shed that fucking skin, man. Get that layer off of you. Level up. Let go. Let go, and then you'll find, by no coincidence, that when you just relax, when you just let go, when you just surrender, when you just let go of your plan and your time to God, to the universe, to fate, to what is already written, you'll find it all come to you effortlessly, in divine timing. Like you, like God, if I imagine God is Gandalf, a wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. As in what is meant for you, you're not late. You're not making mistakes. Whatever you did, whatever you entertained, whatever mistake, seemingly, it was always planned this way. This was all part of the plan. These mistakes, this road taking you away from your destiny, it's gonna be the same fucking road that brings you back to it. So give yourself some motherfucking grace, dude. Remember, a failure is no problem. A repeated fuck up is a decision. you continually to wreck yourself, to go back to the manipulative relationship, to go back to this toxic fuck, to keep these weeds into your life, that's a decision. That's your fault. So the life that you don't like or don't love, that you're not ecstatic about, that you don't have energy and enthusiasm to live, your fault. Your fault. Your fault. Why? Because you don't have any space to allow for the life that you actually want, so long as you're holding to all this bullshit that doesn't serve you. So the courage comes from you letting go. Letting go of what doesn't belong, what's trying so hard to go away. What helps me conceptualize it is all the things that you're holding on to can't come with you to this next season. They can't come with you to this next level. And you have to have it's not humility, but you have to be in a place to accept that. You have to be willing to accept that this person or this, connection, this was meant for a season, not a lifetime. Hard pill to swallow, man, right? Hard pill to swallow. Don't fucking get me wrong. I understand that wholeheartedly. But let's move on. I put you never forget. So you never forget generosity. I put Raquel, Laura, Annalisa's friend at Disneyland. I said, be that guy, be that girl. Dude, this was years ago. I remember I didn't have any money for the hostel that I told you about when I was in Slovenia. When I was in Slovenia, one of my friends, Laura, who I used to train her online, and I would help her with her workouts, with her programming, with her dieting, and I helped her lose, a ton of weight. And then she became a client within Rat Life, bought the pre-workouts, was such a fan, like a raving fan, would buy every time I came out with a new flavor. She was like a for sure buy. And then I didn't have the money to pay for my hostel, which was like fucking $15. I told you I spent the night homeless. She Venmos me $50. Very small gesture. I have never forgotten that. That was so many years ago. That was 3 years ago. 3. That was one. Raquel. I remember I dated her for about 4 weeks when I was in Italy, and it was awesome because she was working as an au pair, and I met her in Rome on the dating app Bumble, and we clicked right away. And so I extended my stay in Rome, and I spent time with her there. And then she went off. She was working as an au pair there. If you don't know what an au pair is, it's like kind of like, think of like a nanny or a caregiver for a home. So she was working there, and then I went from Rome to Florence, and then she took the train from Rome to Florence, and then she went back for the week. And then the next week we went to Venice, and so by the 4th week, I think we went to Verona and then Pisa, and then Venice was the last one. I think that was week 4. But then she couldn't take the train I went to Slovenia next. She couldn't make the train from there all the way to Slovenia and back in time for Monday to be at work. So alas, we stopped our lovely romance, but awesome fucking woman, right? She was Raquel, she was a Spaniard. So cool. Amazing person, right? I remember I was completely broke, and she Venmo'd me when I was in Prague. It was like 150 euros or 100 euros or something like that. It was like $150. Again, 3.5 years ago, in today's economy, small gesture. I have never forgotten that. One more example was I went to Disneyland, and again, there's a recurring theme of Target is past being broke as fuck. I didn't have any money at Disneyland. One of my good friends, Annalise, she had a friend who was there, and I was with her sort of group. These were like musical theater kids, which I vibed with, even though I never did musical theater as a young lad. I didn't have any money for the food thing. We were in like a restaurant. I wanted a chocolate milk. He bought me a chocolate milk. That was like 5 years ago. I have never forgotten that. My point is this. The law despises the free lunch, and we talk about being the kind of person who has the identity of giving lavishly. People will forget something perhaps that you did for them, something that you said to them. They will never forget how you made them feel. They'll never forget how you allowed them to save face when you literally didn't have 2 pennies to rub together and you bought them that chocolate milk. You gave them a place to live for the night. You paid for this, sort of thing. And to them, it's nothing, it's whatever. People with hearts of love, Targ Houks himself, they never fucking forget such a gesture, such a belief in them, such a willingness to share, right? To the point where when you make it, when you become so financially abundant and successful, who the fuck are the people do you think you're going to take care of? It's all the people in your life who believed in you, who gave into you along the way. So it's not to say give for the sake of a long-term investment fucking return. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is be that guy. Be that girl. Be the one who always gives. Be the one who always chooses to live in a state of abundance. Be the one who says there's always more, right? Every opportunity that I have to give to somebody, I want to give to them as much as I possibly can. How? If I don't have any money, I give them my time. I give them my acts of service. I give them compliments. I give them my words, right? I give them specific praise and recognition. It costs you fucking nothing to give someone a compliment, right? To buy someone a gosh darn chocolate milk. That's quick. You know? You could be that guy, you could be that girl. Be that guy, be that girl. Next. And this is actually the last one because I'll reiterate this really quick. The river. To reiterate. To protect yourself or to save the resource, you dam it up. Soon, however, the waters become dank and pestilent. Only the foulest forms of life can live in such stagnant waters. We fucking despise the people who are cheap fucks, who are holding onto their coins, who don't share, who aren't generous, who don't give. Fuck those people. Destroy the dam. Destroy the dam. Don't live in a state of lack scarcity like one of these little weasel rats. I'm not getting on that tangent. People who hoard the gold. When water flows and circulates, it generates abundance, wealth, and power in even larger circles. The river must flood periodically for good things to flourish. Flow like water, my friend. Okay? We already said that. I just wanted to reiterate it. To finish the lecture. When you insist on paying less, you may save your $5. But the insult you cause and the cheap impression you create will cost you in reputation, which is the thing the powerful prize above all. Learn to pay the full price. So the law is despise the free lunch. Learn to pay the full price. Factor in opportunity cost. Factor in your cheap fucking reputation that you're so proud to flaunt. Factor in you choosing to condition living in a state of scarcity, of lack. Factor all those things in. Oh, this is costing me $5. What the fuck is it paying you in dividends in the long run? Learn to pay the full price. It will save you a lot in the end. And then I put also making a woman feel safe, and I put Amanda example. So Amanda, that I told you was such an angel in my life, I met her in Croatia. I was with these two beautiful German girls, Josephine and Julia, amazing women. And we were diving into the lovely Croatian river. We were on the island of Hvar. Yes, we had taken the ferry from Split to Hvar for a day, and we went to the Carpe Diem beach, if you've ever been to Croatia. And I was doing my perfect dives because I did swimming when I was in junior high, and then I switched to tennis in high school. Before that, when I was a very, very young kid, we had like the noodles, you know, that you go and you learn how to go from dives in the big community pool. That was life of a kid and growing up in the 90s, but I don't know if you guys have that these days. But point is, I was an amazing diver, and so I charmed this lovely woman, and she commented on my beautiful dive. And so exchanged, you know, contact info, whatever, and then I would go meet up with her one of the following days. She was doing like a cruise, so she was going like island to island to island. But she was like, I'll come back to, I was staying in Hvar. I went from Split with those German girls. They were staying in my same hostel, and then I went to Hvar. And then I met up with her. She was eating lunch at this place, right? I went over to, and then I saw her. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, you know, I'm just here, you know, eating lunch. You know, kind of deal. I said, let's get out of here. And I went over to the, you know, waiter or whatever. I was like, here, let me go. I'm going to go talk to somebody real quick. And she said, okay, no worries. And then I paid for her bill. Just upon meeting this fucking person, I was like, let's go do something. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let me tell you what the cost versus what the yield was. And this is so important for men watching this when you want to embody the role of not only just a protector provider, but the idea of you making your woman feel safe. Making your woman feel safe. This woman, Amanda, amazing angel in my life, was or is director of a billion dollar pound sort of railway company in the UK, and very, you know, masculine, progressive, when I say progressive, a masculinely developed feminine leader, right? Who has decisiveness, who has assertiveness. What I'm saying is those masculine qualities that make this person an effective leader in this sort of category. You can make those same women who have those, you know, assertiveness, decisiveness, who intimidate boys. You can bring out the feminine child in them when you make them feel safe to let go. And something so easy to do that is something like just paying for their bill, like without, you know, a second guess. And a very small thing, it was like she ate it was like a fucking Caesar salad, right? It cost me so many dollars. Maybe that's why I didn't have the money in Prague. No, no, just kidding. But immediately make someone feel fucking safe like that, right? Safe to open up, safe to let go, safe to trust you. It's so important because so many guys fuck this up to where they will hold on to this, onto these $1 and these $5 and these. I didn't owe this person anything. I wasn't trying to get anything from this person, right? But what you do is you create an environment where someone feels so safe. And guys have to learn this skill to make a woman feel safe physically, right? That's not hard for me to do. I'm 6'2", 200, right now. I'm trying to get back on my fucking prep, but with having missing teeth in my face and agonizing pain recently the past 2 weeks, my diet's kind of been out the window. And then when I get my heart rate a certain level, not to make excuses, I can't actually train in the gym. They said take a week off. So, no. But under normal circumstances, if you've ever seen the movie Sherlock Holmes, where his brother talks like that, under the circumstances, where he's like telling that this girl's beautiful, it's very cringy, but I love it. I fucking love that kind of humor. What were we saying? You have to make somebody feel safe physically. We're talking men to women. I do that by default, where they feel like if somebody's going to come, if you make a woman feel like, gives you the impression, you give her the impression that you're going to fucking get sparked when danger's afoot, her fight or flight has to be on by default. If you give her the impression that you can't afford the fucking bill, her fight or flight has to be on by default. If you're throwing a temper tantrum and you don't have emotional control and stoicism, she doesn't feel safe to emotionally crash her waves onto you. So you're making your woman feel safe physically, financially, and emotionally by how you carry yourself. So by you acting all fucking squeamish and that you can't protect her if danger were to arise, okay, that's fucking strike one. If you are throwing tantrums and projecting and you don't have any sort of ability to tolerate stress, and when crisis arises, she's the one keeping the fucking cool and calm and not you, that's strike two. And then if you're trying to get this discount or short change on this $5 fucking bill, you're the fuck out of the game. Get the fuck out of here. Go to the goddamn bench. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is this. While you're pursuing the free lunch, while you're looking to save the $1, save the $2, I want you to ask yourself, what is it costing you? What is it costing you in the lens of you being a leader within your relationships, of your peers, your family, your woman, to look at you with any fucking shred of respect or adoration or admiration, right? What are you gaining in long-term relationships by choosing not to give the people who are taking care of you less, right? If I have a relationship with a barber and it's like, this is the person who's been cutting my hair for fucking years, right? Why would I not, as I'm growing, as I'm developing, as I'm, increasing my value and increasing my earnings, increasing my income, why would I not then take care of the very people who have taken care of me, right? Who have given me confidence, given me their faith, their trust, their friendship, whatever. Why would you choose to be that Scrooge in life? Why would you choose to forfeit all of these otherwise beautiful garden, beautiful flowers, beautiful relationships that you could otherwise be growing, cultivating within your life? If you think you're going to have a rich life by hoarding all of this gold like a weasel rat, right, and not giving and not sharing and not leveling up and, watering all of your team and helping everyone else, up and improve, you'll find your life being very, very hollow at times and no one giving a fuck about you, you having a reputation of being a cheap bastard, and no one showing up at your funeral giving a fuck about you because you didn't bother to give a fuck about anybody else. Because you chose to save the $1, to save the $2, to not pay for this person's time or their wisdom or to their intellect and try to get the free lunch, right? Versus to give, versus to live in a state of abundance, versus to harness the power of the law of sowing and reaping. As I sow, so shall I reap. If I give, dude, it'll come back to me. I'm going to condition a mindset, right, of giving, of tithing, of uplifting other people. If I don't have money to give, I'm giving compliments. I'm giving my time. I'm giving my energy. I'm giving whatever value I can offer within these lectures, right? Whatever nourishment I can provide within this garden, right? It's all food for thought. So you can go about your day. Stitches, wow. Stitches just fell out of my fucking mouth. That's fantastic. Lovely. You can go about your day however you like. But I ask you this. Who do you want to be? That's law number 40. No more dilly dally. No more ado. My name is Tarkauk. So what is rat life? Anyone can escape. It starts with belief and the courage to pursue duty. But sharpen your identity. Don't look for the free lunch. Don't look for getting out of the fucking work When we talk about courage to pursue, the courage to let go, the courage to check your fucking ego at the door, that's the cost of entry into this garden. That's the cost of entry for your success. And you'll learn that either the easy way or the hard way. Choice is yours. With that, we are all gonna make it.